Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Today on the program, a man claiming to be Bikoy surfaces.
2018, nagdesisyon akong umalis at magtago. Nabuo na ang loob ko na isiwalat ang lahat ng alam ko tungkol sa sindikatong dati kong kinabibilangan.
But can he prove that he's the one in the video series that linked the Duterte family and allies in the illegal drug trade?
May proseso rin po kami sa pag-evaluate ng isang kliyente. Siya po yung legal aid client. So at this point, yun po ang status po ng ni Mr. Advincola.
But authorities insist the investigation will continue.
We'll let the investigators do their job.
Also, it's the final stretch of the campaign season. How will the Ocho Derecho candidates fare in the 2019 senatorial race? Opposition spokesperson, attorney Gutierrez, joins us live. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pinky Webb. A man claiming to be Bikoy finally comes out of hiding on Monday and stands firm on his claims about the president and his family's alleged involvement in a drug syndicate. But he insists he's not linked to any candidate or political party. Our Zian Arcangel reports.
Bikoy, the wooded figure in the video series, ang totoong narco list linking President Rodrigo Duterte's family and a former aide to the illegal drug trade, finally has a name and a face. Peter Jomel Advincola shows up at the Integrated Bar of the Philippines headquarters in Pasig City, claiming to be Bikoy. But he does not present any additional evidence of his claims aside from reading a prepared statement. Advincola stands by the allegations made in the video series that the president's son, former Davao City Vice Mayor Paulo Duterte, his son-in-law Manasseh Carpio, and former Special Assistant to the President Bong Go are part of a drug syndicate called the Davao Group. He says the three are on a document he helped prepare as a syndicate member, the TARA, a list of syndicate members entitled to monthly kickbacks from the illegal drug trade. Advincola says he surfaced out of fear for his life and because he's bothered by his conscience. He says he has been on the run since August last year after his attempts at beginning a new life outside the syndicate were supposedly sabotaged after an encounter with Go.
Bahagi po ng gawain ng aming team ay ang pag-scan ng mga codes na nakaukit sa tato ng mga senior members o principal ng sindikato, tulad ni Paulo Duterte at Christopher Lawrence Bong Tesorogo. Pinapadala ito sa financial controller ng sindikato na nakabase sa Hong Kong, China upang ma-validate ang mga transaksyon. Ilang beses din ako mismo ang nag-i-scan ng code na ito sa tato ni Bong Go, kaya tinitiyak ko po sa inyo na may dragon tato siya, pati na rin si Paulo Duterte. Noong Agosto 2018, nagdesisyon akong umalis at magtago. Nabuo na ang loob ko na isiwalat ang lahat ng alam ko tungkol sa sindikatong dati kong kinabibilangan. At sa tulong ng ibang mga dating kasama ko sa sindikato, na gusto na ding lumabas, pinasa sa akin ang iba't ibang dokumentong nakita nyo sa video.
Advincola says he isn't linked to any candidate or political party. He adds he also does not have ties to the personalities named in the so-called Oust Duterte matrix. Advincola says he ran to the IBP to seek legal assistance because he plans to file cases against the personalities named in ang totoong narco list. But the IBP's National Center for Legal Aid says it still has to evaluate Advincola's claims before accepting him as its client.
May proseso po rin po kami sa pag-evaluate ng isang kliyente. Siya po yung legal aid client. So at this point, yun po ang status po ng ni Mr. Advincola. Ay evaluate po yung kanyang sinabi, kung ano yung mga ebidensyang pinangahawakan niya, at base po doon ay gagawa po ng anong tamang karapatang legal na action.
IBP officials say Advincola immediately left the premises after reading his prepared statement. They can't say how long their evaluation of his claims will take, but it appears we haven't seen the last of Advincola as he expressed readiness to appear as a witness should the Senate investigate the claims made in ang totoong narco list. Zian Arcangel, CNN Philippines.
Let's go straight to the source of the story. Integrated Bar of the Philippines incoming president, Attorney Domingo Cayosa. Attorney Cayosa, thank you for joining us, sir.
Good morning, Pinky. Good morning to your listeners and viewers.
Attorney, paano ho ba napunta sa inyo si Bikoy or si Peter Advincula? Just tell us the circumstances surrounding his presence at the IBP.
Well, I was informed and I saw that there were nuns accompanying him yesterday to the IBP, and we were informed that he was seeking IBP legal aid. So, as Attorney Domingo had said, he's supposed to be vetted out as to his qualifications, the credibility, the evidence, and the motivations behind his complaints. As of this moment, that vetting out still has to unfold. As to the press conference, alleged press conference, I was not at the building at the time. I was in another place, Makati. But when I inquired about the press conference, because I was confronted by some media people, Attorney Ambrosio also told me that her unit, her office, had nothing to do with that press conference. So we will look into the details, but that's what we know as of this moment.
You said you were informed about Peter Advincula, sir. Who informed you about Peter Advincula?
Well, when they arrived, we were about to start our board meeting. So we saw them. We asked who are these. They were accompanied by nuns. So I inquired personally that he's seeking IDP legal aid. So from then on, it was Attorney Ambrosio who attended to them because we were having our board meeting. And of course, we are policymakers. We have assigned lawyers for specific tasks. And in the Center for Legal Aid, Attorney Ambrosio is the director for the legal aid service.
So is it right to say that the permission to bring in Mr. Advincula and to have that press conference was given by Attorney Ambrosio?
I don't know. I don't know if there was prior permission, but really, when people come to IBP, they just come. Ordinary folks, big-time folks, they just come and then apply for but as to whether or not there was prior information, that one, I don't know. So far as the board is concerned, for us in top management, we just learned about it when he was there yesterday.
Yeah, but somebody had to give him the go signal to have a press conference there, sir. Aren't you even concerned who said yes to Peter Advincula?
We are concerned. I am concerned, and that's why we're asking people to explain how did it happen, why this happened, because if he has not yet been vetted, and he is still at this moment an applicant, I personally find impropriety in staging a press conference at the IBP. He can call a press conference in any other venue. That's his constitutional right. But since he's just an applicant, and as Attorney Ambrosio has explained to me last night, we still have to vet it out. I find that press conference uncalled for. So we have to, I cannot make any judgment now because I was not there. We're looking into it. But we are, of course, concerned because we want to make sure that the IBP legal aid program is properly used and that IBP is not dragged into unnecessary controversies that are at this point still have to be vetted out by our process.
Do you feel that the IBP was used in the press conference, Attorney?
Well, I don't know the facts behind it. We're trying to get the details, but we are concerned enough to respond to your request and to clarify that that was not an IBP press conference.
Okay. Did IBP President Abiel give the go signal for this press conference, sir?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he would do that. But I cannot speak for him.
But didn't you speak to him, sir? Sir, did you speak to him?
After the incident, not yet. And we're supposed to sit down. We have another meeting for some other purpose today, so perhaps not in big. But I wouldn't expect him to call a press conference. I don't think
Okay.
the incumbent president will call a press conference that way.
Having said, sir, and explained this to us, is the IBP still willing to evaluate the testimony of Peter Advincula?
The report to me, yes, as of last night, is they are evaluating not only the testimony but the evidence, the motivation, his merit and fitness test. There's a merit and fitness test for anybody to be served under the IBP Free Legal Aid program.
Merit and fitness test.
Yes.
And that means what, sir? Are you a credible witness? Do you have enough evidence? Would that be a merit and fitness?
That's one of the aspects to be evaluated, whether or not you have no recourse to any other lawyer, you don't have the economic capacity to hire a lawyer, whether or not the case falls under the cases that are handled for free by IBP Legal Aid Center, whether or not your motivations are pure, whether or not it serves public good and the marginalized interest of the marginalized, whether or not you have enough evidence, whether or not you're not being used by any other group, because IBP wouldn't want to be used by any other group except.
When do you think the legal department would have an evaluation on Peter Advincula, sir?
My suggestion and my request for the Legal Aid Center is to do the evaluation quickly so that things are clarified. And, we don't make any prejudgments or we avoid perceptions or insinuation.
How many days would that be, sir? I mean, a minimum of what?
Well, I haven't seen the document. I haven't seen the affidavit. These are very serious allegations. They have to look at, of course, the evidence that he has. They have to investigate whether or not he indeed is qualified to have free legal aid. So they look at his economic capacity. They will look at who are the people behind this, if there are any people behind it.
I mean,
so these are many things, and I think for this such a controversial case, it will not be done overnight, I suppose.
Yeah, maybe a couple of
But
days,
the
Attorney.
directive that we are giving is to evaluate it quickly so that we put it to rest.
Yeah. You know, Attorney, I know that an evaluation is ongoing and to find out his merit and fitness test. But if you have Mr. Advincula on national television giving his testimony, a prepared statement, and even saying that, he knew about this illegal drug trade and he knew that certain members of the family of President Rodrigo Duterte are involved in it. And he says that Bong Go was a recipient of the illegal drug trade and then he has a dragon tattoo. And then Bong Go subsequently on that same day shows his back again for the second time and there is no tattoo. Would a testimony like that supposedly debunked by the person, would that completely erase the credibility of this witness?
Well, it would matter. It would be very weighty. That's for our Center for Legal Aid to look at. And not only that, many other aspects of this. Because at our level, we know the details. So we will have to ask them to provide us with the details. At the end, normally, the board is not involved in vetting out, but since this has gone out in media, I think the members of the board are concerned and we are together in asking some clarity and the facts, please.
Okay. There is a Facebook post, sir, by the President's son, former Vice Mayor Paulo Duterte. Ang sinabi po niya is actually two things. Kapani-paniwala daw ang mga aligasyon ni Bikoy, sabi ng IBP. Nakakawala ng respeto ang IBP. Mga abogado kayo, matatalino sana kayo. Would you like to react to that, sir?
Well, IBP, to my mind, officially hasn't made any statement na kapani-paniwala. If there's any statement made by any lawyer, that perhaps is the opinion or impression of a particular lawyer. But IBP as an institution, as far as I was updated last night, it hasn't started or finished any vetting of the evidence or the person or the case being applied for under the Free Legal Aid program. So we understand concern and the sentiment of President San, because these are serious allegations. But we assure everyone, not only him, but the whole membership of IBP and the Filipino people, that this will be looked into, and as things will be clarified, that we'll be very transparent with the results of our fact-finding.
Okay. Sir, just frankly, I mean, I'm gonna ask this diretso na po. Sa inyong pakiramdam ho ba, nagamit ho ba kayo nitong si Peter Advincula?
Well, possibly.
I'm sorry, sir.
Possibly. That's why we're investigating.
All right. Attorney?
Yes, possibly.
Okay.
That's why we're investigating. We want to know the details and the background of it.
But do you have any suspicion, sir, on who could have been behind this?
I don't have enough facts to make any suspicion.
Opo.
So we have already directed the persons concerned to give us the details.
Okay, just a point, sir, that I'd like to raise again is another post of the former vice mayor and other posts actually coming out on social media questioning the credibility and of Peter Advincula, sir, the former vice mayor, rather, saying he's a scammer at kung ano-ano pa ho ang lumalabas sa social media. Have you heard of this, sir?
But I've heard about I've seen the videos of him in a hood. And then now in the media, he says he used to be, he was convicted of estafa. So these things will weigh in. These things are coming out now, and as we know more facts, then it will be easier for the Center for Legal Aid to evaluate and come up with a decision or a recommendation, at the very least, addressed to the president of IBP.
One last, sir. The DOJ is saying, go to the NBI. They're telling Peter Advincula to go to the National Bureau of Investigation. Is this even worth considering?
Well, I don't know. That's the call of the DOJ and the NBI. If they feel it, they would want to listen to his story, that's their call. As a matter of fact, when it is prosecution, traditionally it's the DOJ and the NBI and the law enforcement agencies that would be assisting.
Maraming salamat po sa inyo. IBP incoming President, Attorney Domingo Cayosa. Thank you, sir. Former Special Assistant to the President and senatorial candidate Bong Go again denies allegations that he's into the illegal drug trade. In a press conference yesterday afternoon, Go again bared his back to belie Bikoy's claims. Bikoy has alleged Go is among the senior members of a drug syndicate and that he has a dragon tattoo on his back, which shows a code linked to the group. Go says Advincula should not have gone to the IBP for protection and should have instead checked in to a mental hospital.
Dinadamay nila ang mga akusasyon laban sa pamilyang Duterte at marumi. Kinukulayan kami ng itim para sila ay pumuti. Black propaganda, malicious, panahon ng eleksyon, kanya-kanyang siraan.
We'll be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Preparations are in full swing as the Commission on Elections leads different groups in making sure Monday's elections will be credible, honest, and peaceful. They converged earlier at Camp Aguinaldo in Quezon City to hold a ceremony aimed at showing a united front for the conduct of the elections. Our David Santos was in Camp Aguinaldo. He tells us what to expect from the event.
This is a ceremony to symbolize the readiness of COMELEC along with its many partner agencies in holding Monday's elections. They are here to assure that after months of planning and meetings, preparations are well underway. Now, what we are seeing here now is a long formation of mostly policemen, soldiers, as well as volunteer groups such as the Philippine Red Cross, who along with teachers and other election workers will be in the front lines in ensuring the midterm elections are held orderly and peaceful. Now, majority, or about 75% of the 190,000 strong police force will be deployed nationwide for election duty on Monday. That's roughly 142,000 policemen providing security for voters and election workers on Monday. Now, the PNP, of course, is the lead security agency for the elections. The armed forces will be backing up the PNP with at least 40,000 soldiers also helping out in providing security as well as transporting election materials, mostly in Mindanao as well as in far-flung communities, especially in among island provinces. Now, we are also seeing here a display of government assets from military and fire trucks, police cars and ambulances. Now, this ceremony caps several months of meetings between the COMELEC, the AFP and the PNP, which started with preparations for the Bangsamoro plebiscite held earlier this year. Now, a few weeks ago, officials from these agencies met here in Camp Aguinaldo to finalize the guidelines for their election preparations by convening the National Joint Security Coordinating Center. Now, that meeting, today's event will cap that a month-long, several months of meetings held between among these agencies. Now, AFP Chief Benjamin Madrigal and PNP Chief Oscar Albayade will be joining COMELEC Commissioners Louis De Guia and Al Pareño in what is deemed as a send-off ceremony here in Camp Aguinaldo. There will be an interfaith prayer as well as the symbolic turnover of the command of these forces and their resources to COMELEC.
Less than a week before the midterm elections, we get to know the chances of opposition bets in winning the senatorial race. Let's go straight to the source of the story of the spokesperson for Vice President Lenny Robredo and Ocho Derecho, Attorney Barry Gutierrez. Attorney, good to have you. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Maybe.
Okay, so let's go straight to this. Bikoy, uunahin ko na muna si Bikoy and si Jaime because these are coming out. And some are assuming that, you know, kagagawan or may parte dito, may bahagi dito ang opposition.
Si Bikoy na mismo kahapon na nagsabi na walang kinalaman ang Liberal Party dito or any other member of the opposition. And a few days ago, when we found out that there was a picture being circulated of the Vice President with this guy Jaime, we already issued a clarification saying that, well, he might have been one of the supporters during the campaign, but since then, he has had no connection with the VP. He is not employed by the Vice President, and, you know, we are not connected in any way with what he is doing. And I think that both of them have actually said the same thing.
Yeah, that picture, of course, with the Vice President, sinasabi niyo nga na ilan ba nagpapapicture sa Vice President?
Well, several thousand at least. Every time that there is a visitor, every time she goes to a public event in the province or in Metro Manila, you know, there are literally dozens of people.
But are you even giving this merit, itong si Bikoy, tsaka si Mr. Jaime? Pinapansin niyo ba to? Do you feel that you need to answer and defend the opposition?
Well, the fact of the matter is kasi, one of the experiences we have had over the last 3-4 years, ever since the 2016 elections, is we've discovered that if you let something, even if it is so patently untrue, lie there unchallenged, people believe it. So right now, our policy is to immediately correct wrong information, no matter how absurd it is. Kasi ordinarily, hindi mo nga papansinin during ordinary circumstances. But we live in an age where apparently the consistent repetition of fake news makes some people believe it.
How do you feel, though, that the DOJ ordered an investigation into this, the videos that actually came out, hence the search and the arrest of Mr. Jaime?
I actually don't understand what the DOJ is trying to pursue here. If you look at their pronouncements early on, they even had some confusion as to what crime was being investigated.
So
First,
it
was a violation of the cybercrime law, supposedly, and then they finally wound up with, the old, reliable inciting to sedition, which
in relation to the cybercrime law.
Yes, which every administration who wants to clamp down on its critics has used. It's one of the vaguest provisions of the revised penal code. So, I just find it strange why they're spending so much time on this and not spending a minute at all to look at the allegations, which are far more serious.
In fact, that was the question I asked Yusek Perete yesterday. Kasi ang sinasabi din po ng opposition is, why give so much credence into this? Why not look into the allegations of this Bikoy? Ang sagot naman po nila sa akin, ni Yusek Perete, is, paano naman namin bibigyan ng credibility o iimbestigahan itong allegations ni Bikoy when in fact that he has no name and he has no face? That was before he surfaced in the afternoon.
Well, now he has a name and a face, so I assume that will trigger based on that statement from the DOJ, that will trigger a more in-depth inquiry.
So they were looking for the name and the face. Here's the name and the face now.
But the other thing is, he did give some verifiable information, like bank account numbers and so on. So they could at least have done some initial inquiry into that. I just find it very surprising that rather than do that, they took the trouble to trace which website uploaded these videos, who was the person to whom this website is registered. And they actually arrested that person and are now scrambling to charge him with something.
Well, inciting to sedition in relation to the
cybercrime law.
All right, we're going to have to say thank you for now. We'll continue this discussion on our Facebook page. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.